Hey guys, what's up? So this is a cool book that called Neuromancer by William Gibson, and I heard about this book a while ago through like cyberpunk channels. Like people into cyberpunk consider this like the book of cyberpunk, and I'm not sure. I think that William Gibson that wrote this is the first time the word cyberpunk was ever used, and it was used in this book or something like that, or was associated with the book. And basically like had something to do with the dawn of cyberpunk. So if you guys are into cyberpunk, this is the book of cyberpunk. It's Neuromancer. It's about like a future time where people are kind of like jacked into computers. They just jack in, I think it's called. Like you just basically plug into a computer and interface with whatever that, that virtual like reality, whatever that you're interfacing with, you just kind of plug in so it's like a computer plugging into a person, as far as I really understand, because like the thing about this book is very, very hard to understand, but it's cool. Check it out. This is actually has cred, a lot of cred. It's got like, look, New York Times bestselling author. This is considered his best work, or his most significant work, or his most like the one he's known for. And the back it says winner of the Hugo Nebula Award, which is like the top awards you can get through science fiction literature. So when I heard about like how great this book was, and it's cyberpunk, which is always cool, I was like, okay, so I want to read it. And honestly, like I tried, I think I read like into it, half of it, but you know what? I don't know. Like the thing is that like, it's a little bit of a negative kind of a read. Like as you're reading, you just feel like kind of negative energy, like as you're reading this book, it just feels like a little bit negative. Also, I don't really understand what's going on. It has a lot to do with people and they're like sort of like their names, but they're not their real name. They're just sort of like usernames that they use as people's names. They're describing like the scenes and people traveling from place to place and talking to different people, and then interfacing with computers and doing all kinds of drugs, and there's guns involved. It's really, 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 really original. Really original. Like there's no other books about that's like this. And that's one thing I think is going for this book, is that it's original. I don't even know, like I want to read like the rest of it, but the thing is that like I don't think I've read into half of it, but it's really, really hard to understand is the thing about this book. I don't really know what's happening. I don't know what the story is. It's hard to follow, and the way it's written with sort of like negativity, it's hard to follow what's going on. However, the way it's written is very, very, very original, and it's not written like any other book. So that's a reason to buy it, to check it out. I do recommend checking this out. You might like it, and yeah, it's just like a, novel form. It was like $7.99 US, and like Canada says $8.99 for Canada. It's so like, okay, the back of the book, it says, Case was the sharpest data thief in the Matrix until an ex-employer crippled his nervous system. Now a new employer has recruited him for a last chance run against an unthinkably powerful artificial intelligence. With a mirror-eyed girl street samurai riding shotgun, he's ready for the Silicon quick, bleakly prophetic adventure that upped the ante to an entire genre of fiction. Okay, that makes no sense, because I didn't even I don't know, like reading the book, I couldn't tell you if that's what the book was about, or if it was about something different, because I just have no clue. Like that's not even like understandable, and there's like, even though I read into the book, I still did not even think that that's what the book was about. So on the one hand, I definitely recommend trying the book. Okay, it's definitely has its like reasons that it's good. But it really is, like, I really think that you either like it or you won't like it, because it's not like liking it or not. It's like not really understanding what's happening in the book. Because like, obviously, whatever this was on the back, I have no even idea. It's like, you cannot, I don't even want to, okay, watch. Okay, here, let me just read a thing. It was like this when we headed for Chiba, Molly said, staring out of the train window at blasted industrial moonscape. Red beacons on the horizon, warning aircraft away from a fusion plant. We were in LA. He came in and said, Pack, we were booked for makeout. When we got there, I played Fantan in the Lisboa, and he crossed over into Zongistan. Next day, I was playing Ghost with you in Night City. She took a silk scarf from the sleeve of her black jacket and polished the insets. The landscape of the northern sprawl woke confused memories of childhood for Case. Dead grass tufting the cracks in a canted slab of freeway concrete. Personally, I even though it's like detailed and descriptive, I really don't understand what that meant. I have no clue what the hell, and the whole book is like this. Like, I do not understand this. I would say if you can follow it and understand what's going on, okay, then check it out. Like, I would say try it. I mean, there's enough people that liked it. I just don't understand what's going on. Like, I want to like it, but it's hard to tell. However, like, as you can see, New York Times said, like, freshly imagined, compellingly detailed and chilling in its implications. And I also feel like there was a little bit of like negativity involved in reading this book, because every part of it has every time you read it, there's something bad in the book. Like, for example, ex-employer, crippled his nervous system. Like, why do I have to read that? And then it's just a weird. I think this is a little bit more of like a thriller kind of thing. It's not like a positive read. I think it's a very negative read. But I think it's significant, and I think the way it's written is like, even though I don't understand it, I still like. It's just very, very interesting how it's written, and the fact that's there. So what I read, the little caption there was like, they talked about Case. Case is the main character, as far as I knew. Molly is the other character. They're kind of together, but they don't really. I don't understand how they're like talking to each other. I don't really understand where things are going. I think what he did was, the author, William Gibson, I think what he did was he wanted to like very, very descriptively describe sort of like an alternate universe that he kind of like derived from the possible future of computers and the way things are in humans' interactions with computers. But there's guns, drugs. It's just such a negative thing about this. So as you can see, like, yes, there's a lot that I like about this. What I just don't like about it, the main thing is I don't understand it. Like, it's really hard to understand what's going on. Like, it's just not anything you can understand. Like, I would just read some of it and be like, what does that mean? Because, okay, he doesn't explain what that is. Like, as you can see, like here in the back, it says, like, now a new employer has recruited him for a last chance run against an unthinkably powerful artificial intelligence, right? So like, they don't really explain that. That's a little bit, there's another one here. With a mirror-eyed Girl Street samurai riding shotgun, he's ready for the silicon quick, bleakly prophetic adventure that upped the ante to an entire genre of fiction. I would say like, if you can understand this book, then check it out. Definitely check out the book if you can understand it. It's two things about it is I think that like what's good about it is that it's original, it's written originally. I think the author tried to really tell a compelling, original story and make it very descriptive and make it otherworldly. So I think there's a reason that he made it hard to understand. It's because you're sort of like looking through a world that is just hard to understand. But what I think he did was he made it like, but the thing about the book is they don't really explain what he's talking about. He kind of like expects you to already know what's happening, because the characters in the book know what's going on. They're in this world, they're living in this world, they know what's happening. But when you're reading it, there's no explanation of what they're talking about. You know, there's a little bit of explanation what they're talking about. You kind of understand it a little bit what's going on, but really not enough to really grasp what the author is saying. So that's the thing about the book. It's original, it's cyberpunk, it's sci-fi. A lot of people liked it. It's a bestseller. These are all the positives of the book. The negatives is, I'm going to say that if you can understand it, then, you know, then that's a positive. I think it's just difficult to understand. So, you know, I got just after my experience with the book, I really wanted to like the book more than I did. And it's not that I just didn't like what I understood was cool. You know, it's not that I didn't like it. I just think it's very, 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 very difficult to understand. And it just goes on, and he'll just like, the story just goes very, very quickly, but then it's really, really hard to understand the story. Let me know if you guys have read this book and what you think of it or anything like that. And if you've read any William Gibson or cyberpunk stuff, and let me know in the comments. And yeah, so like subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I will talk to you guys in another video later.